Hello, and welcome to this section looking at fractions at a glance. At its simplest, a fraction is a way of representing a ratio of something. Fractions consist of two parts. First, on the top is the numerator. Second, and on the bottom, is the denominator. The best way to remember which is which is to remember that denominator is down, or on the bottom. On the right here, we have the fraction of 7/10, or 7/10. We can see that the 7 on the top is our numerator, and the 10 on the bottom is our denominator. First off is simplification. To simplify a fraction, we need to identify the largest whole number that will go into both the numerator and the denominator. This is also known as the highest common factor. Then we can divide both our denominator and numerator by this number to simplify our fraction. So let's take an example. So in the case of this fraction of 6/10, or 6/10, we would list all the numbers that can go into both 6 and 10. And we would then identify the highest common factor. In the case of 6/10, that number is 2. After this, we can then divide both our numerator and our denominator by that highest common factor of 2 in order to simplify our fraction. 6 divided by 2 is 3, 10 divided by 2 is 5. This gives us our final answer of 3/5, or 3/5, as we can't simplify any further. Now we can move on to adding and subtracting fractions. Addition and subtraction of fractions can be best thought of as adding to and taking away from a pi, as noted here. We can see that 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4 reasonably intuitively. There will, however, be times when we are adding or subtracting fractions that are not as intuitive. For example, 1/2 plus 1/6. We can't simply add our numerators at the top and our denominators at the bottom. We'd get 2/8, which would not be the correct answer. An important rule for adding or subtracting fractions is that our denominators, the bottom number, needs to be the same in both equations. The first thing we do here is to ensure our fractions then have matching denominators, or matching bottom numbers. So in the case here of 1/2 plus 1/6, the simplest way to do this is to take the denominator of one fraction and multiply both numbers in the second fraction by this number. So here we take the denominator of 1/2, which is 2, and multiply both numbers in 1/6 by this. This gives us a result of 2/12. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 6 is 12. We then do the same the other way round, multiplying the original first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction. So we take the denominator of 1/6, which is 6, and multiply both numbers in 1/2 by this. 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, giving us 6/12. This makes our addition appear as follows: 2/12 plus 6/12. Now all we need to do is add, or subtract, if we're subtracting fractions, the numerators, or top numbers, together in order to get our answer. So 2/12 plus 6/12 means we add 2 and 6 to get 8, giving us our final answer of 8/12. Then we need to simplify. We can use similar methods to before here. We would list all the numbers that go into both 8 and 12, and then identify the highest common factor. In this case, that number's 2. We then divide both our numerator and our denominator by the highest common factor in order to simplify our fraction. 8 divided by 2 is 4, 12 divided by 2 is 6. This gives us 4/6, or 4/6. We would then repeat this process until we had reached the simplest possible fraction. Finally, multiplication and division. With the knowledge we have so far, the multiplication of fractions is simple. To resolve 1/4 multiplied by 2/5, we simply multiply the numerators by each other and the denominators by each other. So 1 by 2 and 4 times 5. This gives us 2/20, which we can then simplify down to 1/10, as 2 goes into both of those numbers. For division, we need to take an additional step. For 1/4 divided by 2/5, we have to invert the fraction that we are dividing by, i.e. the second fraction. Once we've done that, we then multiply as normal. So 1/4 divided by 2/5 is the same as 1/4 multiplied by 5/2. We then make sure that the denominators are the same. In this case, we can make them both 4. We do this by turning 5/2 into 10/4, by multiplying both the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator, by that same amount of 2. This gives us 1/4 times by 10/4, giving us an answer of 10/16. Thank you for watching. For further guidance on fractions and many other numeracy skills topics, please do consider watching our longer Skill Builder videos on Moodle. For further academic skills resources or to book an appointment with an SAS advisor, please go to www.kent.ac.uk/SAS or email us at sas@kent.ac.uk. Thank you.